you just mentioned it there, the history of the Conveyor Belt School System.
Yeah.
Let's go into that.
Yeah.
Tell us more about that.
So any of your listeners, I highly recommend you go read anything by a gentleman named John Taylor Gatto, Gatto. There are a number of his books that you can get for free PDFs online.
Oh, cool.
I had the pleasure of connecting with him before he passed a few years ago. He is a legend that nobody ever hears of, especially if you've been a teacher or are a teacher. You were not given his material while you were being trained to be a teacher, because if you had read it, you'd have left and you never would have finished your training.
Wow.
He's the foremost historian on where the conveyor belt system came from and how it came into play. And he was far more eloquent and knowledgeable in this arena. Go read his stuff. That said, I'll give you the high level.
We'll put a link to that in the show notes too.
Please do. Yeah. So, essentially, there's a number of places we can go back, but for listeners to give the 30,000-foot view, the Prussian military is losing to Napoleon. And there's conversations that, they're losing because the men are starting to think for themselves. They are not blindly obedient to the orders, like they're thinking for themselves. This is causing an issue. And so what are we going to do? So from a national standpoint, they go, man, we've really got to take, let's see if we can get young people early, and we can really make sure that we design a system that sounds altruistic. It sounds like we're doing what's best for everybody, but we're really going to train them to be obedient to the state and not to ask questions. Within a generation, we'll have a very almost robotically obedient populace, right? So you've got this, and then you've got some of the people as the industrial age starts kicking off, some of the, entrepreneurial magnates. You've got, your Rockefeller, and he's sending people like Horace Mann and Dewey over to learn more about this Prussian system, to bring it back to the U.S., because they realized that if they could just get a nation that would do the exact same thing, they could really build their wealth and their legacies on the back of a working humanity in the Industrial Revolution. So Rockefeller puts in, what the equivalent of almost $1.5 billion into this educational system at that time. And he says, I want a nation of, his quote, I want a nation of workers, not a nation of thinkers.
Wow.
And they said,
Modern day slavery.
Modern day slavery. What are you going to teach them for 12 years? He says, I'll teach them a whole lot about nothing. And so it was a good way to, again, belabor the time that, young people, they were delaying them getting into the workforce so that we could train the, vim and vigor out of them, so we could get this obedient population that would then come in and just go, look, man, I'm used to this industrial model training where a bell rings and I get up and I go do something else, and a bell rings and I get up and I go do something else again. And I'm just listening. I'm asking permission for every single thing. I've literally made that the baseline norm throughout all of my developmental years, so that's now what I crave. I'm like Pavlov's dog.
Mm-hmm.
I hear the bell, I'm craving the treat. I'm looking for my master to go, what is next? So now you have all these kids who come out and go, all right, where's my master? And what are they going to tell me what to do? And so that's really what the design has been for and has remained for. It's not to make an educated population.
Man, that's dangerous.
It is dangerous. Well, you can see the outcome. I mean, I don't have to, you can listen to this and be like, this dude's crazy all you want, or you can go look for yourself and go verify everything I've said. Like, you can do whatever you want, but I would ask anybody to just pay attention and go, okay, if you've got, I think it's like 92% of the population in our country has a high school, of age, right? Has a high school diploma. So anybody 18 or older, 92% have a high school diploma. Would you say 92%? Like, would you look at our country and go, oh man, at least 92% of us are well educated? No, you would not. But we all got that diploma. So where's the disconnect? And I'm not pretending that school's the only part of that is an issue. We got all these other issues, the fatherless home issue. There's so many other issues, but school is not designed to educate a human. It's designed to enslave a human.